Good afternoon. I am Patricia Mel Ragland, and it's my pleasure as president of the advisory board of the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park to welcome you to this, our very first Prairie Party. It's a celebration of the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park, affectionately known as theNate. I invite you to take a virtual walk through the park and to witness the park's magnificence and significance as personally experienced by those whose mission it is to develop and to preserve this 100-acre museum. Museums like theNate are education at its best, encouraging all people to learn about themselves and others as they explore the museum's collection. By doing so, people can find commonalities, bridge gaps, and close divides. I think you'd agree with me that at no time in recent memory has a place creating unity been more important. As such, the need to preserve theNate, its art, its land, and its mission to do these things has never been more urgent. For now, all I ask is that you relax, look, listen, and virtually walk alongside the advisory board members as they share their passion for theNate. To get you started today, you're going to hear from Representative Robin Kelly. She will share her views on the importance of art in our lives. She will be followed by the 6th president of Governor State University, Dr. Cheryl Green. Dr. Green will share her grand vision of the university as a resource for social justice, and she'll talk about the importance of theNate in the achievement of that vision. Then, our esteemed curator and director, Jeff Stevenson, will start you on your virtual walk through theNate. I'll see you again at the end of your walk. Welcome to our party.
Welcome to theNate. This collection of 30 monumental outdoor sculptures set within 100 acres of prairie landscape is open, free of charge, 365 days a year from dawn to dusk. We are committed to remaining a free public resource, and because of supporters like you, we've strengthened the pillars of our mission: art, conservation, and education. Our commitment to art is seen through exciting exhibitions and visiting artists that connect the GSU art program, our surrounding communities, and art lovers from around the world. Because of supporters like you, we are able to maintain, repair, conserve, and paint the sculptures when needed, including the collection centerpiece, Yes for Lady Day by Mark DeSuvero. This critical work is ongoing and keeps the collection in the condition that our visitors deserve. And conservation isn't just for the artwork. Through a grant from ComEd and Open Lands, we were able to establish an 11-acre prairie restoration site we call the Butterfly Ranch. The 100 acres of land where the sculpture park resides is an important resource requiring maintenance and care, and because of supporters like you, we are able to realize our vision. Education has always been central to our purpose at theNate. School children from the 22 communities we serve experience STEAM activities, hands-on projects, and life-expanding encounters. An estimated 40,000 school kids live in our surrounding communities, and with your help, many of them will experience the action and adventure of theNate. In 2019, the Lewis Manilow Common Ground Initiative was established to directly address social justice issues in the communities we serve. Through relationship building, community outreach, and reciprocal learning, the collection and the experiences it provides brings communities together to learn from each other. Art is a catalyst and the inspiration for creativity and connection. Frankfort is 9.6 miles to the west of GSU, and Ford Heights is 9.8 miles to the east. For those who are familiar with these communities, they could not be more different. From disparate communities such as these, from Frankfort to Ford Heights, be able to experience neutral ground here at theNate? What if on this neutral ground, sharing the mysteries of the collection, new friendships are born and new projects are imagined. Projects that could eventually improve our communities. With your support, we now have an opportunity to continue this work by maintaining and caring for the art in the collection and the land around it, energizing the collection through new acquisitions and visiting exhibitions, welcoming more area school children to Outdoors at theNate, and through the Lewis Manilow Common Ground Initiative, which will foster relationships and reciprocal learning, we can start a new tradition. A tradition that will follow Lou's example and work towards social equity in our region and beyond. With your support throughout the year, we plan to do all that we can from where we are with what we have to work with, and to make a difference in our community and our world. Won't you join us?
Hi, this is Congresswoman Robin Kelly. Each October, we pause to celebrate National Arts and Humanities Month, a coast-to-coast collective recognition of the importance of culture in America. As Illinoisans, we know that the arts and humanities enhance every aspect of our lives. It improves our economy, enriches our civic life, drives tourism, and exerts a profound positive influence on the education of our children. However, 2020 changed the ways in which we can safely celebrate National Arts and Humanities Month and Black Fine Art Month, also celebrated in October. It moved our celebrations online and outside into large open venues where social distancing is possible. I'm glad that places throughout our community, like theNate, have found ways to continue engaging and enriching our community despite this pandemic. As we celebrate National Arts and Humanity Month, please join me in celebrating the embodiment of all things beautiful and entertaining in our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a special guest to our first Prairie Party, A Date with theNate, I am pleased to introduce the 6th President of Governor State, Dr. Cheryl Green. Dr. Green, welcome to Governor State, and specifically, welcome to the Friends of theNate and the Advocates of theNate.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to focus on the things that we love, and that's the art and the appreciation of it and what it means to our community, what it means to our campus. I'm just looking forward to all of the events and programs and ways that we can engage the community to share what we have to offer at Governor State University.
Recently, you toured theNate. As an art enthusiast yourself, what was your first impression of the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park?
Well, I'm still learning about the collection, but I was amazed that the 30 artists whose works are displayed in the park are an incredibly diverse group, including 3 women, 3 African Americans and Latinx, and Native American artists. This demonstration of inclusion on a grand scale is of vital importance to the university and to the communities that we serve.
It is indeed. You mentioned in your convocation address that you were going to remove the image of the Governor State as being a hidden gem. How does theNate support that initiative?
I was particularly impressed to discover that the artists whose work grace theNate are significant leaders in the field, from Richard Hunt, whose work appears in many museum collections, including the Art Institute of Chicago, to Martin Prairie, who represented the United States at the Venice Biennale in 2019 and received the National Medal of Arts in 2011 from President Obama. This is no hidden gem. This is a world-class sculpture park and not one to be hidden any longer.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. You've expressed your vision of a holistic social justice institute at Governor State. How does the sculpture park fit with that?
Well, theNate is directly in line with that initiative. Right now, our nation and our community are suffering painful turmoil and destructive division. in many ways. Universities like Governor State can bridge those divides with their programs. Last year, during our 50th anniversary, theNate established the Louis Manilow Common Ground Initiative to honor the founder of the park, Louis Manilow. This initiative shares the founding principles of Governor State: equity, access, and resources for the surrounding communities that we serve. The artwork in the collection acts as a catalyst to bring communities together in ways they might not be able to otherwise. And through unique opportunities of reciprocal learning, school groups, community organizations, and other visitors can learn about each other and from each other.
It certainly serves a need. How would you like to see our GSU students relating to theNate?
This is a rather unique, unlikely pairing of a world-class art collection of significant artists' works with a state university. I hope that GSU students get to know the collection during their time with us, and I also hope they see it as their sculpture park, their art, and discover the ways that interaction with art enriches our lives and makes learning about any subject more dynamic and more creative.
Now, during your tour of theNate, you seemed particularly moved by two of the pieces, both House Divided, which is behind me, from 1983 by Bruce Nauman, and Yes for Lady Day from 1968 by Mark DeSuvero, behind you. They're pictured here. Would you say that these pieces are as relevant now as they were when they were first created?
As I understand it, Yes for Lady Day is a tribute to Billie Holiday. And House Divided was inspired by Abraham Lincoln's 1858 speech, in which he said that a house divided against itself cannot stand. Our university is almost equidistant between two communities that could not be more different from one another, Frankfurt and Ford Heights. But here at Governor State and theNate, both communities can learn and breathe and enjoy the beauty of the Prairie. These are unique resources, very much worth supporting and preserving for all.
Well, we greatly appreciate your time, Dr. Green. So do you have any other things that you would like to add about theNate?
Well, as an art collector myself, it is wonderful to join others in the celebration of art. Art enhances our curiosity, our imagination, and critical thinking. It builds bridges between people and is something to treasure and to support. I appreciate all the support the theNate board has provided over the years, all of the friends of theNate who have been generous and dedicated to theNate thriving and being a destination cultural site. Everyone, please continue to support theNate with your advocacy, your talents, and your contributions.
Thank you, Dr. Green.
Hello, I'm Jeff Stevenson, the Director and Curator for the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park and the Visual Arts Gallery at Governor State University. GSU is a thriving cultural arts destination. We've got the Center for Performing Arts, which just had its season launch a week ago, and the Chicago Southland International Film Festival, which has festival passes on sale now for viewing films this coming week. They have some exciting program going on, so please check them out. The Visual Arts Gallery has an exhibition going on now through November 24th of abstract paintings It's a dynamic exhibition that you don't want to miss, so make your appointment now for a safe, socially distanced, private viewing of the gallery. And of course, there's the sculpture park. theNate is the socially distanced, kid-friendly, art lovers destination to enjoy the fresh air, over 100 acres of prairie lands, and of course, world-class outdoor monumental sculpture. Here to tell you all about it are some friends of theNate, members of the advisory board.
Hi, my name is Victoria Stroll, and I serve on the advisory board for the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park. I first started whenever I was a student at GSU. Being on campus, where art is everywhere, really had an impact on me. Not only because I was studying art, I could tell that other students were benefiting from the art shows in the gallery, the art on campus, the community collaborations with the center, and of course the sculpture park. Some of my favorite events through the sculpture park are the annual Earth Day tour that happens in April, which is a reflection of theNate's commitment to conservation of the land. We have a butterfly ranch that is an 11-acre prairie restoration project that was made possible by ComEd and the Open Lands Grant. That's a really fantastic community resource because not only do the students of GSU benefit from having an open outdoor laboratory, but the area school students can also come there to engage in the land and discover new things. Maintenance on that site is really important to mitigate the invasive species. In other words, we have to weed the garden every year. And to do that, we rely on donations. So if you're interested in land conservation, consider a donation to the Butterfly Ranch, where you can be sure that your donations go to a free public resource that is benefiting students and the land, your neighborhood if you live in the area, or maybe just your neighboring community, but definitely the visitors who come from around the world to see theNate. Another event I really love is the June Summer Solstice event. We have a sculpture by Edvin Strautmanis that is cited to perfectly frame the setting sun of the summer solstice. This year it even got painted to its original fiery orange-red. One other great thing about theNate is that membership is free. All you have to do is sign up your email for the newsletter and you become a friend of theNate. And in that way it makes me feel like it's a very inclusive space for anyone who is interested in art. You should plan to visit theNate soon to see what's new, or maybe visit some of your old favorites. And don't forget that we have a free app called AutoCast that helps you learn more about the park. You can find it on your smartphone's app store, OTOCAST. It has a GPS map, it has additional information about the sculptures, and some interviews by the artists themselves. It is open, free of charge, 365 days a year, from dawn till dusk. We are the safe, socially distanced, kid-friendly, art lovers destination, and even parking's free. So what are you waiting for?
Good afternoon. My name is Greg Lunsford, and I'm proud to serve as an advisory board member for the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park. I've been a member of the advisory board since 2013. Our board was formed in 2007, and shortly thereafter we put together our first fundraising event, which many of you know as Carson Cocktails. Carson Cocktails was a fabulous opportunity for people in the community to come, receive a guided tour of the park, learn more about our mission, fundraise, and enjoy a cocktail. In 2017, we expanded the event to Sculpture Wine and Dine, where there was a guided tour as well as a wonderful farm-to-table dinner entertainment, dancing, and a few other features that many of you have come to enjoy. Sculpture Wine and Dine was also a feature event in 2019 when the university celebrated its 50th year anniversary. We're proud to share with you today our intent to use both formats. In 2021, we will again present Sculpture Wine and Dine. Please mark your calendars for September 11th. We look forward to seeing you, celebrating with you, and raising funds for our mission. The following year, in 2022, we will go back to have a smaller event, which will be a fundraiser and will be lower in cost. We hope all of you have some time to spend in the park. We also understand that these are tough times economically. Although we invite you to give, we understand everyone cannot. So we have this simple ask. If you can give, could you please give generously, and also consider those who can't give, who may want to use our resources, and also give a little bit extra on their behalf. If you can't give, don't worry about that at all. We have a free public resource in the park which you can visit and enjoy at any point in time. I hope you enjoy the rest of this presentation this afternoon, and thank you for participating.
Hi, my name is Tim Brennan, and I'm a new member of the NATE Advisory Board. I live in nearby Crete and lead an art gallery in the school called Crete Creative. I personally value community engagement through the arts as well as things like prairie conservation, so volunteering at and supporting the NATE is a natural fit for me. I'm particularly proud in how our education and outreach efforts at the NATE work to partner with different entities within Governor State University and the surrounding community to find ways to connect and support everyone. For example, our Kids in the Costume Bark in the Park event is becoming a great tradition in October. It provides families with a fun, art-filled activity, and it features treats of art materials for kids. Also participating is the South Suburban Humane Society, who features adoptable pets at this event so that visitors just might meet their new best friend. Since our GSU students volunteer organizations like South Suburban Humane Society, this event also really reinforces the NATE's role in community service and engagement. Another event that we have is called a Winter Walk / Empty Bowls. It's a holiday party for all the friends of the NATE. When we were able to gather in person, attendees could purchase handmade ceramic bowls made by GSU students and local artists and enjoy some hot soup after a brisk winter walk in the park. This year, through an intellectual life grant from GSU, we plan to auction those bowls off online. So please make sure you're on our mailing list and watch for more information about that really great event soon. All proceeds, by the way, from this event go to the GSU Student Pantry and the Emergency Relief Fund. So these are just a couple of examples of how the NATE makes an impact on the lives of the folks in our communities that we serve and beyond. And this is why I'm inviting you to join me in supporting this very special and important free public resource. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Yvonne Orell, and I am a proud member of the NATE Advisory Board because it's a passion project for me. I first discovered the park as an adjunct professor at Governor State University and also in my capacity as the Chief Professional Officer for United Way's South-Southwest Suburban Region. However, it was following a major stroke that I truly discovered the beauty that the park offers. There, I learned how to walk again. I used it as a resource for recreation, rejuvenation, and relaxation. I want to sustain the NATE like it sustained me, and I want to be able to share it with others for years to come. My favorite piece in the collection is Wind Waves, a beautiful piece by the artist Yvonne Demage. So from this Yvonne to you, thank you so much for your support of the NATE Sculpture Park.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jacqueline James Lewis, a proud advisory board member of the NATE Sculpture Park. My involvement with the Sculpture Park stems from an appreciation for the tremendously impressive collection of outdoor sculptures created by world-renowned artists such as Richard Hunt, Mark DeSuvero, Mark Prairie, and Terry Karpowitz. Our charge is to raise the awareness of the magnificent sculptures that grace the grounds of Governor State University. As you leave this virtual experience, keep in mind to plan a tour of the sculpture park, bring friends, support the park with your monetary donation when the opportunity presents itself. Thank you for joining the party at theNate.
Hi, I'm Jan Glazer, one of the advisory board members for theNate. I'm an artist living in Kankakee, Illinois, and also the executive director of Harvest View Senior Living in Herscher, Illinois. As Pablo Picasso so famously said, art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life, and that is why I'm very happy to support theNate. In our current extremely difficult times, the Sculpture Park provides a respite from the challenges we are facing in our daily lives. Art uplifts us all, and it is a comfort and joy to be able to experience this in the beautiful park at GSU while so many other art venues remain closed. The arts benefit us all spiritually, emotionally, and physically, and we are blessed to find these benefits at theNate.
Hi, I'm Shay Brookman, and I have the pleasure of serving on the board of theNate. theNate is near and dear to my heart, not only because it's a treasure trove of works from world-renowned artists, but most importantly, because it's a place where everyone's invited to experience, explore, and interact with the art. And you know, it all takes place in a setting that is as spectacular and enjoyable as the art itself. theNate's collection is amazing. There's no question about that. But the park is so much more than its collection. The rich programming reflects a true commitment to the local community. theNate has something for everyone, from the most sophisticated art scholar to young children who are experiencing sculpture for the first time. And I'm grateful to be a part of something so special.
Hi, I'm Al Sturgis, a member of theNate's advisory board and a docent.
There are two things I really love about theNate. One is the Prairie setting gives you different looks throughout the year. In fact, one of my favorite times to get out to the park is in the wintertime on cross-country skis. As a docent, I've had the opportunity to work with children, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, and it's really neat to see the way they react to the park. You know, when you take them up to Illinois Landscape number 5 and they shout out the nickname French fries, you know, it's really neat. One time with one group, I had asked them how many had been to Millennium Park, and none of them had. And I think, well, at least we've got them exposed to fine art here at theNate.
Hello, I am Elizabeth Kelly, and I have been a member of theNate Advisory Board for 10 years. During this time, I've served in a variety of roles, and currently I am working with the Education and Outreach Committee. We are very excited to offer a virtual field trip for parents and teachers during the pandemic. theNate is an outdoor museum with a world-class art collection. We offer free admission, free parking, and a free app you can download on your phone, and it provides a guided tour of the park. Teachers and parents can enhance their in-person visits with course materials and projects to engage students of all ages. Volunteers are always welcome and needed, so we are also excited to launch our Ambassadors for theNate program. Ambassadors for the NATE program is an exciting course to learn more about the collection from Dr. Rebecca Seifert, GSU's art historian. This course with Dr. Becky is perfect for lifelong learners. The park also serves as a living laboratory for area school children, teaching the popular STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math principles through artwork. In our Outdoors at the NATE program, STEM becomes STEAM with the infusion of art. This program opens young minds to new opportunities for critical thinking. We appreciate your advocacy and support. Thank you for being a friend of the NATE.
Big thank you to all the board members for sharing why you love the NATE and telling us all about the activities, projects, and initiatives going on in the park. We did a video recently called The NATE Early Days, which revealed some really exciting things about how this all got started. Central to it was Lou Manilow's dedication to relationships, building a shared vision, and of course, his love for art. You can see the entire film on YouTube by searching The NATE Early Days, all one word, but here's a clip so that you can get an idea.
Makes it so unique. The story of the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park begins way back in 1968, 69, 70, when two individuals representing three different organizations met. The individuals I'm talking about are Louis Manilow, the son of Nathan Manilow. Nathan was the developer of Park Forest, and Nathan Manilow was the original planner of the new town, Park Forest South. When Nathan Manilow died, Louis Manilow took over the development of the town that was then called Park Forest South. Bill Engbertson was hired to be the president of Governor State University, a new university to be situated in Park Forest South. These two men met. Louis Manilow was an enthusiast for contemporary art. So was Bill Engbertson. Louis Manilow was building an exciting new town, which the federal government was very interested in. Louis Manilow wrote to the federal government and said to the National Endowment for the Arts, and said, I would like to have a sculptor come to the town of Park Forest South and build sculptures in my town in the summertime. So the NEA said, yes, we would be happy to fund that. And Mark DeSuvero spent 2 summers in Park Forest South, which, interestingly enough, or at least where he lived and where he did his sculpture work, was on the property of what is now Governor State University. He created a piece called For Lady Day. He built that piece, For Lady Day, while he was on this property, the property that you and I are sitting on right now. He also built another piece while he was on this property in those 2 summers, and that piece is Prairie Chimes. What Louis Manilow did was, when Mark DeSuvero finished one of his pieces one summer, and namely For Lady Day, Louis Manilow bought it from Mark DeSuvero, and then Louis Manilow gave it to the Park Forest South Cultural Foundation. As soon as he did that, he then approached the National Endowment for the Arts and said, will you match that amount of money and enable me then to commission 3 other sculptors to build pieces for the sculpture park, which eventually would grace the town of Park Forest South. Because Mark DeSuvero was in Park Forest South and on what is now the campus of Governor State University, all sorts of artists from Chicago spent their summers out on this property. So Richard Hunt, John Henry, John Chamberlain.
All Chicago sculptors.
At that time, they were all Chicago sculptors. They all came out to this campus. They had a lot of parties with Mark DeSuvero and Lou Manilow, and Bill Engbertson was present. So Bill met all of these people. I had already said that Bill was interested in sculpture. So the actual beginning of the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park occurred when, during the same period of time, Louis Manilow, who owned the Cornell Arms apartment complex in Chicago, in Hyde Park, had commissioned a sculpture for the patio of that apartment building. And that sculpture was called Phoenix by Edvins Straumanis. And the sculpture was put up, and the people in the apartment complex hated it. I mean, they literally hated it. 8 years later, I found out that Edwin Strautmanis, when we opened our sculpture show, said he got obscene phone calls because the sculpture. I mean, most of us who have seen the Phoenix now would say it's
mild.
It's very mild and
very lovely,
almost geometric,
yes.
Almost geometric. But anyway, Louis Manilow felt that the only appropriate thing to do was to give that sculpture to someone. Well, meanwhile, he had met Bill Engbertson. Bill was enthusiastic, so he called up Bill Engbertson and said, "Bill, we have a sculpture for you. Would you accept it?" And Bill said yes. And that was actually the first sculpture acquisition of the university. And it was shipped out here. United States Steel took it apart and shipped it out on the flatbed. They arranged for that kind of contribution. And it was put in a barn. And it simply stayed in a barn for years.
You've heard the Louis Manilow Common Ground Initiative mentioned several times throughout this program. And the idea behind it is really this idea of common ground, where we can find common ground between us, where we can bring people together from very different backgrounds, very different communities that surround us, and find this neutral ground at the sculpture park, working with the collection and enjoying the artwork. We've always had a reputation for being accessible and for doing the work to provide access to communities that don't typically have access to fine art and art institutions. So this was really an opportunity to go a bit further and take an active role in developing programs that really integrate communities that might be very different from one another. We believe that when two people meet each other and get to know one another and exchange ideas and maybe even work on a project together, they build a relationship, and there's something there that can be built upon. So we're looking at the possibility of sister communities or sister schools and having this sort of idea where there's this exchange. We didn't want to come into communities saying, like, we have this idea that's going to save you. No, we really wanted to say, you have resources that we're interested in, and we want you to bring your talents and your gifts to the sculpture park. So we've been working, our education and outreach coordinator, Sherry Deno, has been working at making connections with representatives in the communities that surround us. And all of this is to build towards a time when we hope we can get together about a year from now, when during the pandemic it's been very difficult to work to make these connections, but by October of 2021 we hope to bring these communities together in the sculpture park for a summit. And the summit is going to consist of visiting artists, workshops where people can work together on projects and exchange ideas and initiate those friendships and those connections that could build into something more and build towards understanding between people who are very different or who might be misunderstanding each other at the moment. So if you would like to be part of this exciting work, please join us. Please make a donation today, and thank you. theNate's collection is made up of 30 monumental outdoor sculptures set in 100 acres of prairie landscape. But the more exciting thing is the artists themselves. They really are amazing people. I've had a chance to meet many of them. And looking at more of their work outside of what we have in the collection is always a fun thing to do. I caught up recently with Terry Karpowitz and got to look at his studio and some of the projects he's working on right now. So here's a little video clip of that visit, and it will be followed by board member Paul Uzero, who has a very exciting announcement which will all make sense after this video.
My earliest memory of sculpture was helping Marc de Souverault in 1969 install an exhibition in New York. And for me, that was my epiphany. That was my eureka moment where I realized that you could work with your hands and your body and you can sweat and still make art. So within the year, I had sold all my paintings and enrolled in graduate school at the University of Illinois. While there, I made kinetic sculptures that I invited the audience to participate in, to activate them. And from that point on, my sculptures move from the inside to the outside. And I ask the elements, the wind and the rain, to become the activation source. And I applied for a Fulbright Fellowship to go to England. I was granted that opportunity. I worked with the Society for the Protection of Ancient Buildings, and after a brief period of study, I was aligned with Jim Davies of Art Thompson and Son, the last millwright in England at the time. We worked on 7 windmills. I did everything from putting up what they call the sweeps or the arms to rebuilding, the drive wheels with spokes and cogs. The techniques I used today are the same techniques that I learned in England. And I'd like to think that what I'm doing today is still a tribute to that experience. The attention to detail, the joinery that Jim Davies taught me, how to marry materials is still evident in each of the works that I do.
Hi, I am Paul Usero, and I have been an advisory board member at the park since 2008. And this is my wife, Linda. It has been a wonderful experience. Linda and I, we have gained a greater respect and appreciation for sculpture as an art form. And in the process, we also have made a lot of wonderful friends. Serving on the development, the conservation, and the finance committee made me very aware that our wonderful fundraising events barely can support our educational and conservation effort, and that acquisition of new sculpture will require new donation or new grant.
Paul and I had already decided to make a gift to the NATE as part of our estate planning. But last spring we attended an online event about the history of the early days of the park. One of the participants inquired when new sculptures were going to be added to the NATE. And Jeff replied that unfortunately the budget could simply not support any new acquisitions. So we started thinking, why not make our contribution now so we can see the results and enjoy?
So we are thrilled to announce that we are making a gift to commission a new sculpture by renowned Chicago sculptor Terry Karpovich, who already has a piece in the NATE's collection. Arc was acquired as a gift in 1981 and is presently located inside at the main entrance at GSU. So we are really excited about adding a new large outdoor sculpture by Terry that would complete the sculpture park vision from that period.
Paul and I also want to make sure that the collection at the NATE will continue to grow. So we've decided to make an additional gift, which will create a fund for new acquisitions. We hope you will join us in supporting the NATE in its quest to work with up-and-coming artists, the next generation of sculptors. This new acquisitions fund will allow the NATE to continue the vision of its founder, Lou Manilow, and will underscore the mission of social equity through art.
Thank you, Paul and Linda. Your generous donation for a new sculpture now and your forward-looking vision to create a new acquisitions fund is an amazing gift to the NATE, GSU, our region, and really far beyond. And it's a challenge for others to join in. I personally want to thank you for your dedication to the NATE over the years and how you've given of your time and resources so generously. This unexpected surprise has certainly lifted my spirits, and being able to build on Lou Manilow's vision of social equity through art infuses our mission with purpose, and I'm sure your gifts will inspire others to give to the New Acquisitions Fund, which will focus on the next generation of artists, including women, artists of color, the brightest and best thought leaders. Thank you.
Hello again. How was your walk? Before I conclude today's event, I must thank the members of the advisory board who so graciously shared their personal commitment to the NATE and who support its mission. As you were virtually walking the NATE, you might have noticed a common theme runs through all of our projects. That theme is the pursuit and achievement of social justice through art. Paul and Linda, we cannot thank you enough for your incredibly generous gifts to the NATE. Not only have you commissioned a work which will add to the collection, but also your vision in creating a fund that will encourage and support young, up-and-coming artists is a legacy few people achieve. Thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you agree with Paul and Linda and believe that young artists from every background should be supported and encouraged to create, please give. Last year, the NATE celebrated its golden anniversary at our Sculpture, Wine, and Dine event. It also marked the unveiling of a significant initiative. That initiative is the Louis Manilow Common Ground Initiative. In particular, we thank Louis's widow, Susan Manilow, for being our honorary chair last year and in her leadership in launching this crucial community resource at the NATE. The initiative was established to perpetuate Louis Manilow's beautiful vision of bringing people together through art. If you are disturbed by the constant divisiveness we are witnessing and saddened by the suffering in our communities by virtue of it, we invite you to walk with us in supporting programs like this initiative that can foster social justice through the arts. Please donate. If you are moved by the beauty of the Prairie and want to see it preserved, please give. If you're moved by the majestic beauty of the collection, please give to preserve it. I hope you can see that donating to the NATE and supporting its many aspects and programs gives you a rare opportunity to be a part of something larger than yourself. Something that can have a positive effect on the 40,000 school children that reside in the 40 communities surrounding Governor's State, now and into the future. If that is of interest to you, then please give to support social justice through the education initiatives of the NATE to ensure that people, young and old, can experience the mind-expanding effect of world-class art here at the NATE. Thank you again for your donations and your support, and goodbye.